Hey, I want to do a video about lead paint. So we have a lot of houses that, let me get out of the sun here for a second, that are older than, 1978. And so paints could have been made with lead. And so when we have houses that we're selling, we don't like to have like all this fence or the house behind me. We don't like to have paint that's peeling. We know our appraisers, inspectors, might possibly call it out, especially if the house is older than 1978. If it's newer than 1978, no big deal. It's so funny watching myself. It's a little delayed, and so it's quite bizarre. But anyway, so with houses and peeling paint, in our Pacific Northwest, we do have a lot of rain. We end up with a lot of rotting wood. And so one of the things our appraisers love to call out is peeling paint. And so I have a project. We have an appraiser that called out a bunch of peeling paint, and it's on an 8-foot privacy fence. And I was like, okay, we know this privacy fence didn't exist here in the 70s. So we're positive it does not have lead paint on it, especially when you see treated boards. So this is my project. And so yeah, if you have treated boards, you know that those, especially when they have these grooves, you know that they're not 1978 or prior. You know that they're post lead paint. So this is my project. I have an appraiser that called out peeling paint, and in our Pacific Northwest, we don't like to have what we call raw wood that's not encapsulated with a stain or a paint. And so what you need to do is scrape it. This is a scraper. I don't know what you call it. I've had this tool forever, and I absolutely adore it. So I'm sure there's a lot of guys that are like, Anita, that's not the tool for scraping paint. You know, I had a paint scraper once upon a time, and you know, I think it lives in another state now. So this is the tool I had. You know, I have a lot of putty knives too that would have scraped off this amount of paint and done what I needed. You can also power wash. If you know that it's a good, strong, durable wood, you could come out, you could power wash it, and especially if we're going to have sun for a couple of days, you could easily power wash it, let it dry in the sun, and then come back and paint it. And so I was thinking I had maybe 8 foot of fence. There's a lot of stuff blooming, so my nose keeps tickling. So I thought I had maybe 8 foot of fence, 16 foot. You know what? There's more fencing than I even want to. I don't even want to know how much I need to paint. So quite often we'll hire this out. We'll ask the homeowner to do it. Our homeowner's in another state. And you know, living on an island is really hard to get guys, any kind of handyman, to come out and do these quick repairs for us real estate agents and home sellers. So home sellers end up doing a lot of the small stuff themselves, and that's what I would suggest. If you know you're listing your house, absolutely do all the stuff you can do. Try, if you know months in advance you're listing your house, do it in advance so that you're not scurrying around trying to find people to do it after it's under contract and after it has come up on our appraisal list or repair list from an inspection. You're going to end up paying more because it's going to be a rush job. And typically once it's called out by an appraiser or an inspector, the homeowner can't do it. They will specifically write in that contract that they want a licensed professional to do the work. So if you're going to list your house, do as much of it. If it's painting, do it yourself. Get out there, scrape it, or hire someone to do it in advance so you aren't having to spend as much to do it when it's a rush. Because, after we're under contract and go through an inspection, sometimes we only have 2 weeks to get the work done. Sometimes it's 3, but typically the buyer wants to see that the work is done at least 3 days before our closing. And it also gives a buyer time to walk through the house, to take another look, to make sure all those repairs were done. And if they weren't, they can say, hey, no, I don't want to go forward with this. Hey, when is this going to be done? So you want to make sure that that work is done at least 3 days before you're closing. And so anyway, back to my little project. Yeah, I do a lot of these projects. It saves my clients money. I know it's done. I know it's done well. So, and you know, if you're on Whidbey Island, state of Washington, and you know some handyman contractors, repairmen, send them my way. I absolutely need help. Or if you know some high school kids that want to mow, that can paint fences, send them my way. I'm constantly talking about that with my lender. Because you know, we do have a lot of families that are tight on money, and there's absolutely little projects you can be doing here and there. I don't want to be out here scraping paint as I'm shuffling around my schedule in my day. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm running out of hours of the day. So anyway, I'm out here. If you know people that do have free time, that are looking to earn some extra money, really send them to the real estate agents. Yeah. So anyway, my project, back to the fun. So this is my project. So you definitely don't want to see all this peeling paint, you know, especially if it's an older house that could have lead in it. And so what we're going to do, we are simply scraping off this loose stuff. And of course it comes right back in my face. So you could easily wear your mask. You could wear your goggles. And so you just want all of this nice loose stuff off of here. Because, you know, once it gets wet, it's going to bubble up more. Some people think, well, it'll help it just stick back down. No, that's not necessarily how it works. It's just going to make it bubble up worse. And, you know, these little items, you could repair these. And you could tell the weed eaters definitely have been hitting on this for a few years. And so that's what we want to do. We just want to scrape down these edges. Anywhere that we have the extra grass, we need to remove all that, because we're going to paint all this. And you see that there's just, it's just loose. Hey Mona, I missed your chocolates. I need to stop working so hard so I can come south and have chocolates. And coffee. I would love a coffee also. But so that's my project. I'll probably come back on when I have my paintbrush in hand. And you know, and some of these boards, you can tell that they're starting to get soft. So probably the homeowner next time around when they're ready to paint, they're probably going to replace several of these. But yeah, you just see how our paint is just starting to peel. And so we're just wanting to loosen all of that, scrape it all off, so that I can come along and paint. And there's great paint scrapers with replaceable blades. That's what I always loved about this. This tool I have used to remove, oh gosh, what is it? Like flooring in my Nebraska house that was like a linoleum that was down with a black tar. I've had this to, I don't even remember what else, but so many states, so many projects, and it's just been awesome for me. But this is just all of the paint stuff that we have to get rid of, because it's just not going to, when it gets wet with paint. I don't even know where my phone is at here. All of this paint will just bubble up. So new paint isn't going to make it stick. It's just not gonna do it. So that's my project. So I'm going to continue on with that. And, anyway, so you need a scraper, And then what I'm going to do, I am simply going to use a paintbrush. You know, you could spray this. I'm always a little old school with what I do, and I always think that it's a better finish when it's a paintbrush and it adheres and it gets down in the nooks and crannies a little bit better. But anyway, yeah. And if you're the COVID police, yes, I've got my mask up here. It's also, you know, keeping the paint out of my hair. And anyway, have home questions, buzz me. You want to look at houses, buzz me. You can go to my movetowhidbey.com, or if you want to talk about kayaking, biking, all that fun stuff. Anyway, have a great day. Bye.